If you are planning on relocating into Florida and not quite sure which city it is that you do want to live in, what we're going to be doing in this video right here is comparing the city of Pensacola to the city of Jacksonville, two great Florida cities. We're going to be covering topics like your climate, your cost of living, your amenities, the schools, all kinds of different subjects that we are going to be covering comparing the two of these cities. If this is your first time watching, my name is Pete Sweeney, and I've helped out so many just like you watching this video right now who ended up purchasing their next home within the Emerald Coast, more specifically the Pensacola metro area. So if Pensacola is one of those spots that you do want to relocate into, make sure you do hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up and notification bell. That way you notify yourself every single time that we put out a brand new video, more information on the Emerald Coast. Let's go ahead and dive right into these comparisons, comparing these two awesome Florida cities. Biggest one being obviously is going to be population, because Pensacola, Florida is much smaller than Jacksonville, Florida. By how much? We talk about the 2025 population projected according to World Population Review of Pensacola. You've got a population of about 53.2 thousand people within the city of Pensacola. Now, that does not cover the metro. That is just the city of Pensacola. Where if we look over at the city of Jacksonville, the population is much more than that, about 20 times more, and we are looking at right around 1 million people within the city of Jacksonville. So yes, that is going to be one of the biggest comparisons when we are talking about pretty much your small big town. That's how I like to call it, because it's not your small town that you think about kind of in the Midwest and such. It is just a smaller big town vibe type thing, where Jacksonville, it is much larger when we are talking about the two cities. Next thing that I wanted to talk about is going to be weather, or I guess the climate within the, either of these cities. And just to put it in simple terms, when we are talking about Jacksonville compared to Pensacola, Jacksonville is going to have hotter summers and colder winters, and so it's a little bit more extreme either way that we are going. One thing, if you do not follow us, that we've always talked about, the reason that we did choose Pensacola is that we did still want to enjoy the seasonal change, right? Whereas if we felt like we're in Central and South Florida, we were just gonna be getting like summer and mild summer. We wanted it to be a little bit cooler. We wanted to feel that fall weather, those fall vibes that do come in with the season of fall, and then also feeling the springtime weather. And Jacksonville definitely has that, but like I said, it is going to be a little bit colder in the wintertime as compared to Pensacola. What do those numbers look like? Are looking at the highs over in Jacksonville when we're talking about summertime. You're looking on average between 90 and 94 degrees over summertime. Or what do those lows look like in the wintertime in Jacksonville? You're looking at between 40 and 45. And then if we go over into Pensacola, Pensacola's highs on average during the summertime, you're looking at about 88 to 92 degrees. I can tell you right now, like, we're not in July, because July is like when it starts to get much warmer. We're seeing probably about low to mid 80s, and it's enjoyable. We love it. We just came back from Mexico, and I felt like Mexico was a little bit warmer than it was here, even though the temperatures were about the same. And then if we look at those winter lows within Pensacola on average are about 45 to 50 degrees. So you can see it's about a 5-degree warmer difference on average as compared to Jacksonville. The next major thing that I wanted to talk about, and a big reason why so many people do choose the Emerald Coast, is going to be the beaches. The beaches in the Emerald Coast are fantastic. That is a big reason why Destin has become so popular probably over the last decade or so. And that's just not my personal bias. Everyone that does come here and has not ever seen the beaches of Pensacola Beach, of Navarre Beach, they're always saying how these are the most amazing beaches they have ever seen within Florida, and sometimes, depending on their experience, ever. What comes with that though? What comes with the Emerald Coast beaches? We just have that super sugary, like quartz-like sand. You step on it and it just feels like your feet are stepping on pillows. Yes, it does kind of squeak a little bit, but it is just, it's amazing. Like I said, we were just down in Mexico and walking on those beaches. It was so much more coarse. It wasn't, I mean, if you want to do some type of exfoliation on the bottom of your feet, then hell, you know, the coarser sand will definitely be better. But yeah, it's just amazing, the sand that we do have on our beaches. Also with the Pensacola, and this is actually common around pretty much the whole Gulf side of Florida, we are going to have calmer waters. So if you are a huge surfer, you might not enjoy the waves that we do have. They are perfect for us personally, because we have kids that are just learning how to surf, and the waves are that perfect height for them to learn how to surf. But we have talked to a few people who do surf on average. They're coming from like California or somewhere else that has larger waves. They're like, oh, you got your baby waves or whatever. But yeah, so we are going to have that calmer water. And then also with being on the Emerald Coast, the reason that it got its name is we have just that emerald green water where you can see through, you can see the sandbars out in the distance. It is beautiful when we are flying above and then also just hanging out on the beach of the Emerald Coast. Now let's compare that over to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, you are going to have more of a coarse brown sand, right? Very similar to kind of what we just experienced going down into Mexico. So it is going to be a little bit more coarse. So hey, like I said, if you want to do your daily walks and get some exfoliation, there you go. You got it over in Jacksonville. Also, the water, since it is on the Atlantic, is going to be more of a deep blue. You're not going to really have those emerald greens that we do have in the Emerald Coast. So it's going to be deeper, and your waves are definitely going to be a lot stronger as compared to Pensacola. The next topic that I wanted to compare between these two cities, because this is another huge thing that always comes up, is tourism. If you are planning on calling either of these cities your home, you want to know what kind of tourism is coming through there. Do you want to live somewhere where people are constantly coming down in the summertime, doing their spring breaks, doing all the different holidays, and enjoying the waters, the beaches that both of these cities do offer? When we compare the two and looking at the numbers, when I looked the numbers up, Pensacola on these last couple of years on average has gone right around 2.5 to 3.5 million visitors. Now that is going into Pensacola and then also visiting the beach, and so it's all these different areas, because technically the city of Pensacola doesn't have a beach, so they all go over to into Pensacola Beach. Where if we compare that to Jacksonville, you're talking about 10 times the tourism that you are going to have to deal with, where you're looking at numbers of 20 to 22 million visitors per year. Now, just outside of that, the beaches and that summertime tourism, there's definitely a reason why Jacksonville would be experiencing a little bit more tourism, and I'm actually going to break into one of those factors here later on in the video. But yeah, you could just see 10 times the tourism. Us personally, our tourism within the Pensacola metro area is tolerable, right? It's like it only takes an extra 5 to 10 minutes to get across the bridge over to the beaches, and it's we know where to go, and the tourists aren't going to go. We can do that. Whereas Jacksonville, with that many tourists, it is constantly going to be in your face no matter what you're doing within the city. All right, let's go ahead and break into that cost of living comparing these two cities. So what we usually do is your cost of living index, where 100 is your national average. If it's above that, it's more expensive, and if it's below it, it's cheaper than your national average. And so when we are looking at that number comparing Pensacola over to Jacksonville, the good thing is both of them are still below national average, where Pensacola comes in right around 89 to a 92. So you're looking at probably about 10 points lower than your national average when we are talking about that cost of living. And then Jacksonville really isn't that much more. They actually come in at a 94 to a 96, still below that national average. Let's break into a couple of the numbers you might want to know, though, if you are looking at purchasing a house within either of these two cities. And so I just looked up your average annual property taxes in both of these cities, and there's more to this story than just the number. And so let me go over the number first. Your average annual property taxes within Pensacola comes in at $1,398. Your average annual property tax over in Jacksonville comes in $2,021. One reason for this could be the fact that, housing prices are going to be a little bit cheaper in Pensacola as compared to Jacksonville, where it will have an effect on how much your property tax, how much is that housing price going to be in Pensacola as compared to Jacksonville. Over in Pensacola, you got a median sales price of $268,000, and in Jacksonville, it's $305,000. And these numbers are as of April of 2025. We have not got the new numbers in yet. I'm still waiting on them to come in for May. If you're watching this video right now, I think we're right in the middle of June, but hopefully those numbers are here. But yeah, so you can see how housing is going to be a little bit cheaper in Pensacola, and that might be a reason why those property taxes are going to be a little bit lower. Let me throw you a little quick side note on this, though, is we've noticed with the Pensacola metro area, there are a lot of unincorporated areas. Now, what's the great thing about those unincorporated areas is the fact that you're not paying as much tax as if you're in an incorporated area or within the city limits of a city, of an area, or whatever it might be. For example, you are going to be paying more taxes in Gulf Breeze proper, where you're within city limits, as compared to Gulf Breeze down the highway, the Midway area, where you are outside of that. You're kind of in that unincorporated area. So you can find some spots when we are talking about the Pensacola metro area that are unincorporated, pay a little bit less property taxes. But there's all this talk right now about them trying to get rid of property taxes or dealing with property taxes. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but everyone always calls me like, what's going on with this? They're talking about getting rid of property taxes within Florida. I can't tell you much outside of that, guys. It's politics. We'll just see what happens, and hopefully they'll be able to help out a little bit when we are talking about property taxes. All right, we are almost there. We are going to be comparing the two school districts you are going to be talking about, comparing Pensacola over into Duval. Before I do that, though, guys, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, Pensacola metro area, give me a call or text at that phone number right below. Right there, I always answer. It doesn't matter date or time, but if you're not quite ready to purchase, just want to follow along and educate yourself a little bit more on the Emerald Coast, smash that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, notification bell, that way you're notified every single time I put out a brand new video. All right, let's go ahead and break into these schools. So when we're talking about Jacksonville, this is based on county. So we're looking at Duval County over in Jacksonville, where if we're talking about Pensacola, we're going to be talking about Escambia County. All these grades that I'm going to be going over are based off of niche.com. So if you want to go and dive in a little bit deeper on that, make sure you go to niche.com, and then you can type in the county up above, look on the map, look for specific areas, what the schools are graded. It's actually a pretty darn cool tool. So if we look at Duval County, you're looking at a grade of a B. That's overall. Outside of that, I also incorporated some counties surrounding the area outside of Duval County that you might take advantage of within the Jacksonville metro area. So St. John's actually comes in at an A. Then you got Clay County comes in at an A, and then Nassau County comes in at an A-. So you can see when we are talking about schools in the Jacksonville and Jacksonville metro area, you have some great grades according to niche.com. Now let's talk about Escambia County and Pensacola, and then I will also cover the closest county, because Pensacola metro essentially only has two counties. You got Escambia County, and then you also have Santa Rosa County. Escambia County comes in at a B, where that's the county that Pensacola, the city of Pensacola, is within. And then if you go just a little bit further east to Santa Rosa County, you're looking at an A-. And I could tell you guys from my personal experience, we came from a private Christian school moving out of a blue state, came here, and we have been nothing but impressed with the schooling that is in Santa Rosa County. We love it. Our kids love it. And so it's just like one of those things. It's like, are we going to have to do private school? And we come in and we're like, no, I don't think so. I think we're good to go. Last but not least, we are going to be talking about amenities, because this is one of those things that Jacksonville definitely does have on Pensacola. So Jacksonville, it is larger, and this is when I mentioned the reason that Jacksonville might be getting a lot more tourism is because of a few of these reasons, right? And so Jacksonville has your professional sports. Me personally, I'm just mainly NFL, so I just know they have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've got 2 Costco's, they got Topgolf, they got your IKEA, they got all these amenities that the Pensacola metro area does not have. And I keep checking back on this, because right now there's a Costco that is supposed to be going in off a 9 Mile Road just north of downtown Pensacola. They're still waiting to get approval from Escambia County, last I heard, but there is supposed to be a Costco going in. Otherwise, if you want to take advantage of all these other things that Jacksonville has besides IKEA, you're going to have to go up to Mobile. Mobile does have a Topgolf. Mobile does have a Costco, and all those amenities you might be looking for, and it's only like a 45-minute drive away. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate it. If you do have more questions in regards to the Pensacola metro area, make sure you reach out, give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right below it there, we always answer. It doesn't matter date or time. I'm a licensed realtor here, helping you out with all your real estate needs. But if you're not quite ready to purchase, still in discovery mode, make sure you smash that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, notification bell. That way you're notified every single time we put out a brand new video. Till next time, we love you.